Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this is the Dragon Barrows Nerdsville. This video is in response to a video made by Steven Crowder, who last year did a video called Movies That Won't Be Released in 2016, or Movies That Would Not Be Remade in 2016. But the simple reason is that they were questionable in their political, in today's social justice warrior, politically correct mumbo jumbo bullshit, with quite a few of them, one of them being Mrs. Doubtfire, another one being Dirty Harry, and another one I can actually remember 3 out of 5 of them. I don't know what they were, but they see Mrs. Doubtfire, Dirty Harry, and Blazing Saddles. Those 3 I can remember out of the 5. And to Mr. Crowder, I apologize for not remembering the other 2. But it took me a year to do this because I've had other things like make other videos that were important to me, start up a Facebook cosplaying account, which I won't bore you with. I'll let you, if you're on Facebook and you see the pro wrestling cosplayer, you can do that on your own time. But this video, and also moving, as you can clearly see. Well, you can clearly see from the previous video, from a previous video to this. Now, the movie in question that I took a year to get this done, the movie, for the simple reason is it's so wrong in from the social justice warrior and politically correct police. It is that funny. It is they're a weird mob. This movie is an Australian comedy classic, and it's one of the best comedies that it's ever came out of Australia. Not for the fact that it has one of Australia's greatest comedians and nationally renowned television personality, as in the wonderful Graham Kennedy, who himself makes a brief cameo and who himself isn't politically correct, period. And I'm going to read this little part here. Just the 3 paragraphs, the 2. Okay. They're a Weird Mob is about Sydney, weird Australia. In 1965, a sprawling, growing city of 3 million people, easygoing, down-to-earth, and hilariously funny people, in truth a very weird mob. Into the city, a fresh off the boat, comes an innocent Italian immigrant named Nino Colotta, who finds his promise of a sports writer's job has vanished, along with his bankrupt cousin and sponsor. A job as a builder comes his way, and Nino quickly gets an education in how to be fair dinkum, Aussie, one of the weird mob with their outlandish language and strange ways. Now that is I can't show you. Sorry to people who want to watch this exquisite movie on this video, but I'm one of those people who chooses to play low under the radar. I will show like the DVD cover. Whoops. But that's the only size of copyright infringement that I'm willing to go. I don't want to go any further because I don't want this channel to close down. But Mr. Crowder and to other people, after watching this movie a number of times, there are several reasons why that this Australian classic, this Australian cult following movie will not get made. It's very simple. Or will not get remade in today's market. It's one of them is you gotta look at what all these university professors are saying, and which leads to lobby groups, and which goes straight into the politicians and uneducated actors and so-called comedians of today. That's like a broad statement, but here are the points as follows. Australian slang, Australian terminology, the Australian way of speech. Like when, like over here in Australia, we would use the terminology ankle biter. It means a small child. And to have this movie full to the, well, overflowing from the cup of a tolerance, this sort of language, ankle biter. There's nothing rude about it, as I may mention before. It means a small child. A battler, B-A-T-T-L-E-R. It means a hard worker, or just making ends meet, or just making a living. Do your block, which means to get angry. Bloke meaning man, Sheila meaning woman. Cocky, it means a cockatoo. And there are other terminologies like bludger and bogan and bushy and bingle and dag, darrow, digger. A dag is a funny person. A darrow is a homeless person. And lastly, on this Australian terminologies or slang, the terminology digger, it doesn't mean they go on to construction sites and they dig. No, it's a term that Australia and New Zealand uses for their war heroes. You call them we call them servicemen over here too, but we affectionately nicknamed them the digger because in World War One, the Boer War, and other conflicts where trenches had to be dug. That is what our soldiers did, and that's the same thing with your soldiers in America, Mr. Carter. But since Australia has gone that far away from doing the old he's the respecting the past, where the Cockney rhyming slang would come into the Australian slang, would develop into the Australian language. We've gone, we've virtually said, no, you're not Paul Hogan, you're not Paul Hogan, he's the guy who done Crocodile Dundee, or if you're not Steve Irwin, the late great Steve Irwin, the crocodile hunter, if you're not them, like you, when you're not allowed to do all these Australianisms on TV or in movies. That's another thing. That's one reason. Another reason is the dodgy immigrant. As I read on the back of this, into the city, fresh off the boat, comes innocent Italian immigrant Nino Corrotta, who soon finds his sports writer's job has vanished, along with his bank robbed cousin and sponsor. That is like saying foreigners are dodgy. Even when they do get their people out into Australia, all these immigrants do is they come out here, they take all this money from their take all this money from banks, take this money from people in their neighborhoods, take all this money from their social clubs and who are not to do with their nationality, take all this money from this party, that party, some other party, bring in their family and find out that, and just to go, alright, I got this much money spare. I know there's so many great opportunities in another country. Here's my bags. I'll only pack a couple of suitcases, leave all this stuff behind, fly to another country and make my living and sponge off the government there. And that's one reason why that this beautiful classic will not get made, is to reflect on the, it's virtually like an insult to foreign people. Another reason why it will not get made is just because like the attitude. And as I said, it may not be an Italian that would be. There are different ethnic groups around the world that would find themselves difficult in Australia, and maybe the guy comes from a Middle Eastern country like Iran or Iraq or Syria, and the money grab and gets one of the most dumbest people in his family or the most hated person in his family to come to Australia instead of by boat. A boat person in Australia is not exactly a pleasant terminology. It's an insult. It's best to say you flew, like, instead of saying. For me, I can say my family flew here, as in my. That's where half of my family comes from, and the other half right here in Australia. But how my family came over here was through honest dealings and that from from my loving auntie and uncle. And another reason why that this will not get made is, as I said, with like the immigrant could come from another country. That if it, like the guy comes off the plane, goes walking around, sees a bar, goes inside. It's full of Australian sports loving and the occasional drinker as in person who drinks a beverage of alcohol. They go in, they go, can I get the the directions to this hotel or this address, where someone goes, yeah, I'll tell you that. But let's just see. Smacks down some money and goes, before you go, mate, here, cheers. And customly over here in Australia, if there's someone you don't know, sometimes you may go, okay, I'm going to be generous. This guy doesn't know the area. I might just buy him a alcoholic beverage, or in this case, a beer. And some cultures around the world, they don't have to be Islamic, they don't have to be Jewish, but there are some cultures in that it's not because of religious, but for other reasons, they've outlawed alcohol. And for a person from that culture to drink alcohol for the first time when hitting Australian soils could be deemed offensive to people of that country. Another thing, another reason why this movie will not get made is just that no one would actually get the larrikin nature. It's actually one of the most beautiful things to see in the past of Australia, but really, no one actually get it. Well, and let me just see here. And in today's day and age, jobs are not exactly easy to get. Unlike in this era where if you had a strong back and you can swing a shovel, swing a pickaxe or anything like that, you could have just rung up someone who says, "Oh, need someone to help build houses," or a furniture removal company wants you to move furniture from like the showroom to the house, or furniture movers or removal or moving company. They're wanting people to move, to employ people to move other people from house A to house B. Or if you're a quick typist, you can find yourself employed in a bank or in a office block. If you're smart enough, you can become a teacher, or you can lead this organization or lead that organization. There's only two things that you couldn't do, and that was run for firstly was run for politics, and another one was become a doctor. For simple reasons, you needed to learn. Firstly, you can't be a politician. Period. Secondly, with the doctor thing, you have to learn the Australian way of doing medicine. They don't care where you came from. If you don't know Australian medical procedures, up-to-date medical procedures, you have to go to school and learn all that stuff. And in the movie, it makes it quite easy for a guy to just, or in this case, I'm going to pull out pull out a mobile phone and go, okay, flick, unlock, hello, or marhaba, or namaste, or shashai, or konnichiwa. I am looking for a job. Which is nowadays you have to write a huge CVs and get your resume all stacked and neat. That's not, and over here in Australia it is very hard to find jobs, and the government makes it even harder because you have to go into these places where you have to spend 2 hours sitting on your backside on a computer sending out your resume, sending out CVs, and that in a very dank and uninspiring location. That's what's happening in Australia now. And that's another reason why this movie will not get made. Another reason why their weird mob will never get made again. It's simple. Earlier on in the movie, during the course of the movie, the hero of the story does something that a person, the government official, doesn't like, or in this case, the lifeguard doesn't like. The lifeguard wants him to follow the rules. This guy breaks the rules, and the lifeguard has no choice but to go, you know what, you stupid bastard, as in the negative using of the term bastard, would go, oh, you stupid bastard, swims out, grabs him, and wrestles him back to shore with all of his mates, lifting him up, then tossing him down. Go, yeah, you've done, bugger off before I call the cops on you. You're causing a menace. Well, while we're wasting time here saving your ass, someone else could actually die. That's the gist of that particular part of the movie. If that was done today, and if it was a female from a culture that you can't have a man that's not related to you to touch you, or have people who can't touch you in a certain way due to cultural or religious reasons, the lifeguard scene, or a scene where, even if it's just in the pool, it could be a female lifeguard could be rescuing a skinny male. Culturally unaccepted, and we should, that should not be accepted. Another there are other things inside the movie which are acceptable, like the immigrant goes to parties, the immigrant finds a job too damn quick, according to real studies. The immigrant becomes friends very quickly with certain people. He's a highly educated immigrant, who can speak English and another language, bilingual. That's another reason. That's a sub reason why this movie will not get made, is because of the person speaking 2 languages, and the guy speaking 2 languages getting a hard time. Will be classified as insensitive. Especially if it's an immigrant, will be classified as insensitive. And the last thing in this movie that I love to see, which I thank God didn't happen in my family, it was the Australian-born, the Australian-centric father, and that he goes, "No bloody Dago is going to marry my daughter." Dago in Australian is an insult to people of Italian and Middle Eastern backgrounds. That even saying the terminology "wog," it implies similar situations. Or as I've mentioned the Middle East in this video, it would be like it could be an Asian, like a person who has been multiple generation Australian, who happens to whose great grandfather happened to be born in China, and from there his family came through. Or it could be a person from Canada or the United States, or Mexico, like an Hispanic coming over here. It could be like a native Australian, what you would call Aborigines or Aboriginals. And it's a Middle Eastern person, and they're going to go, "Oh, I'm not letting one of those damn camel jockeys get a hand of my daughter." In whatever ethnic accent. You see, nobody is going to take, camel jockey, not taking my daughter. Let me use my own family background. What do you see? There will be no camel jockeys in the family. No, the camel jockey be going out with my daughter. And that's come from my own background. Another one will go, "Oh, dating that camel humping freak. No, you're not doing that." And that's what the politically correct social justice warriors, or shall we say social justice crybabies, will find offensive to think that here we have a person, and in this movie it is an Irish, a person with Irish background, saying that no foreigner is going after their daughter. And it's the same thing, but with the Middle Eastern side. And camel jockey, or camel humper, or camel router, or router in Australia means sexual exploits. To have that, it's not exactly correct, if you know what I'm saying. To be honest with you, Mr. Crowder, also if you show bits and pieces of this on your, if you show this on your podcast, great, you can be more than happy to find out that these things are. This is definitely sold. This is a region for, well, it's a multi-region thing. Or try to legally download this movie. It's great. It's a great watch if you want to see what Australia was in the 1960s. But again, it's just so full of politically incorrect things and jokes, but yeah, it's so much fun to watch, and it's sad to think that this bit of Australian cinematic history will not be rewritten or redone. It's just basically a foreigner trying to live up to the dreams they had, only for the dreams to be shattered, and for him to find a new dream. But yet, that dream is far better than the dream that he originally envisioned. And Mr. Crowder, thank you again. Let me just, to finish off this video, let me just say this. Mr. Steven Crowder, and to all the people who watch Steven Crowder on YouTube, and to like him on various social media sites, I just want to say is that Mr. Crowder, you're a great, and to use Australian terminology, and I'll translate it for you. You're one top bloke. Means you're a great man. You're all what you say is dinky die, which means true. And may all the blokes and Sheilas in your life be lucky enough to have you, mate. And may all the men, all the people in your life, may they be full of blessings, knowing you as a wonderful and very funny person. From me, Dragon Barrows, to you, Mr. Steven Crowder, I just want to say is thank you for giving me the inspiration just to do this video. I've been Dragon Barrows, and hopefully to see you in a Nerdsville type video.